Welcome to Community at Home for July 9th, 2020. I hope you're doing well amongst all of all the stuff that continues to go on with COVID-19 and trying to do the best thing for the safety of each other. I hate wearing a mask. I know I haven't met anybody that loves wearing a mask. But I do when I go into the places where I'm around people. And and hopefully we'll continue to do that and see what it is. Hey, I know that it's difficult times. We're 4 months in to this deal, and it's just difficult. And one of the things that I've noticed, and you probably have too, is there's a lot of people on edge. It doesn't take much to offend people. It doesn't take much to make people angry, including yourself. There's a lot of frustration. Who do you believe? What do you believe? What is it? What is it not? With all the what's going to happen with school and what's the fall going to look like, and we're in it together, and that's what we're going to continue to do, and we're going to do our best to continue to be the church and do the things that we have. We'll do a community at home for tomorrow to let you know about signups and what we're going to be doing for church this weekend, which will be the second weekend in July. Today, I want to just go to the next thing in my little Moleskine book. And the next thing that's in the Moleskine book is this question: what is it that you have done with what you know? What is it that you have done with what you know? And that's from Andy Stanley. What is it that you have done with what you know? Another way of saying is this: it's not what you know, it's what have you done with what you know. It's not what you know, it's what have you done with what you know. One of the most common phrases that I hear in my house and a lot of times at work is, I know. When someone says, I know, what they're really saying is, I haven't done what I'm supposed to do. They're just saying, well, I know, because I just told you this needs to be done. And your response is, I know it's supposed to be done. I'm just saying I haven't done it. What is it that you've done with what you know? James chapter 4, the half-brother of Jesus writes this in James chapter 4, verse 17. He says, remember, it is sin to know what you ought to do and then not do it. It is a sin to know what you ought to do and not do it. So we sin by doing things, and sometimes we sin by not doing things. So those sins of commission and sins of omission. When that happens, Jesus in Luke chapter 12, and as he's teaching, he says this in verse 47. He says, a servant who knows what the master wants, but isn't prepared and doesn't carry out those instructions will be severely punished. These are the words of Jesus. And a servant who knows what the master wants, but isn't prepared and doesn't carry out those instructions will be severely punished. So, what is it that I'm doing with what I know? And if I'm going to do the things that I know that I'm supposed to do, I'm going to have to be prepared. I'm going to have a plan. I'm going to have a way that I go about that. And I just kind of jotted down some things that I know that I'm supposed to do. But the question isn't, am I aware that I'm supposed to do these things? It's, am I doing these things? And what is my plan? And how do I go about it? Things like reading the Bible, praying and journaling, worshiping God. This whole idea of singing in church has kind of been in the news lately. Have you noticed? Do you know that there is all kinds of ways to worship God? Singing is not the only way to worship God. There's all kinds of ways to worship God. Fully supporting your church, dating your spouse, discipling your children and or disciplining your children, learning. I mean, we could come up with a really long list of the things that we know that we're supposed to exercise, eat right, be encouraging, be forgiving, don't hold a grudge. All of these kinds of things that we know that they're not good for us. We know that we should be doing the things that are good for us. So there's this question. What is it that I am doing with what I know? Now, sometimes, obviously, we don't do stuff because we don't know. But most of the time, we know. Most of life is not about necessarily learning what to do. It's having the courage and the accountability and the discipline to do what we know we should be doing. After all, love is a what? Is love a noun? No. Love is a verb. It's action. And when Jesus says the greatest commandment is to love him and to love ourselves and to love our neighbor, when he says that all the commandments have really come down to one, this new commandment that I'm giving you is love one another. He's saying we have to be a people of action. We have to be a people of action. So the question is, what are you doing with what you know? We'll talk to you soon.